Welcome to the question and responses for the 5 keys to better vision. Now, question 1. Climania. Do you have any particular light bulb brand you would recommend? Not a brand, but the type. Look for full spectrum lights. Now, even fluorescent light bulbs can have some full spectrum. I have full spectrum LED that light up my clinic, and full spectrum is the best because there's multiple wavelengths. Full spectrum LED is pretty good. The EMF isn't really good, but the best is a full spectrum light bulb. And if you're looking at light bed therapies, high UVB for the light beds are also fantastic. But light therapy is amazing. That's why we recommend red light therapy and full spectrum bulbs for particularly people who are far away from the equator. Now, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share it with others. This information can change the world and change the lives. Question 2 from Notaris 1985 and another one from Tashmakman. Okay, any suggestions for binocular vision dysfunction that many ADHD-ers have? Oh, cool. And concussions, misalignment, the cranial, I'm guessing bones in my case. So when you look at this, your vision has tracking, and the eyeball should move together. Now, any problem with the brain, because the eyeball has multiple innervations from the brain stem, and the brain doesn't stop at the skull. There's an oblong section that extends the top third of the neck. And this is also how we identify brainstem issues by looking at eye movement. And so binocular vision means that your eyes aren't tracking the same. Makes a heck of a lot of sense for ADD, ADHD-ers, because those are impulse control issues from the frontal lobe. Now, any alteration in structure. So alteration in structure means that the cervical spine, thoracic, lumbar, loss of curve in the neck, something, that alteration in structure can negatively affect the brainstem. And that's going to be how the eyeballs track, the oculomotor nerve, lateral rectus. So you're looking at all of these cranial nerves are going to have effect on eye. And this is why we recommend doing eye checks for mobility to see if they can track to identify if there's been a brainstem injury. And this could be as simple as a whiplash trauma or, falling off a swing or a skateboard injury or any even bigger, more significant traumas. So why that is important, because if you have an alteration in structure, you're going to have altered stimulus to the cerebellum. And the cerebellum controls that frontal lobe, and that's where ADD, ADHD come from. So absolutely. And this is why we check cranial misalignments, because if you're checking, and this is a good thing that you could do at home, right down the middle, it's called a sagittal suture, past the frontal bone, and this is where the two parietal bones meet. If touch the top of your head, if you feel heat and tenderness there, press on either side. The top of the head shouldn't be any more tender than it is on the side. So check there, and if you see heat, tenderness, or swelling, it means that there's an increased cranial pressure. And that could mean that there's an upper cervical or cervical misalignment, limiting the ability of the cerebral spinal fluid that's produced in the brain to flow down. And that intracranial pressure could also indicate pressure on the brainstem. But that's a really simple test to see if there's intracranial pressure. And then the correction, get to somebody that's going to take an x-ray, and I'm talking an x-ray of the pelvis, lumbar, thoracic, cervical spine. You got to look at the entire structure, because if you've had a thoracic injury, you're going to have a writing reflex in the cervical spine, and that can be a contributing factor to the loss of binocular vision. So find somebody that's going to take an x-ray, they do a series of therapies, they take another x-ray to show they actually fixed it. I know, just common sense. Question 3 from Tom Gallagher. Hey doc, I have posterior vitreous detachment on the right eye. I also have floaters, flashes of light, and I went to an eye doctor 8 months ago, and I do not have retinal detachment. Open to all suggestions. Would red light therapy help? Red light therapy will help, but we got to look at the vitreous humor that's in that area and it's produced. So look at nutrient deficiencies and look at eye movement and look at structure of the brain. So we have to get physical, chemical, emotional stressors. We got to look at all three of them. Get static and stress x-rays of, and it's going to sound weird, lumbar, pelvis, thoracic, and cervical spine. Because if you have any structural deviations, you could have a writing reflex altering the structure of that cervical spine. Look at the normal cervical curve that you're going to be missing more than likely. Then look at nutrient deficiencies. So toxic seed oils are going to not be healthy. It's not going to give you a healthy arterial flow. And we need to increase the production of that vitreous humor. And then that will start to fill up that sac and help to get it to connect to that retinal area. So look at vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, zinc, plant-based mineral supplements. So, sea plants, okay, and make sure their sea plant supplement is not from China or Japan. Make sure it's from, New Zealand, California, or the Caribbean. Sea moss is fantastic. So then you're getting the right nutrients. Look at vitamin C, look at omega-3s, powerful antioxidants. Look at the structure, so the cervical spine, thoracic, lumbar. Then do eye exercises where you're looking up to 12 o'clock. Just picture a big old clock in front of you, up to 12 o'clock and then down to 6 o'clock, and then up to 1 o'clock. Hold it for about 4 or 5 seconds, then down to 5 o'clock, then over to 2 o'clock, then down to 8 o'clock. So you're forcing that eye. So you're actually increasing and decreasing the pressure of the eye. So by restoring the curve in the neck, allowing that cerebral spinal fluid to flow, and allowing moving that eye, so you're increasing and decreasing the pressure, you're going to increase the metabolism of the area. And then by changing the nutrients, you're going to really help with the healthy blood. And this is why we do a live blood cell analysis on just about everybody to see if the blood's healthy. And then let me know how you're doing. Question 4 from Simon Price. Thank you. How come grass-fed organic liver wasn't added to your nutrient list? It should have been. One of our patients brings us a steer every year, and I just had some grass-fed liver last night. I thought this was straight retinol and no conversion needed like beta-carotene. This is just making one of the best sources for food for eye health. Just wondering if there's a reason it wasn't on the list so I can remove it from my new routine. No, I mean, keep it in the routine. Liver supplements, it's one of the most nutrient-dense organ meats. It's absolutely fantastic. So that was an error. Thank you for catching it. Okay, and it's delicious. Okay, question 5 from Andre Moore. I wish I could visit Dr. Bergman. I've got eye floaters for about 3 years that made me deeply depressed and changed me as a person. I miss me, the old me. Also, I have bloating, cool clue, for about 5 years after eating to the point where I look like I'm pregnant. Sucks Dr. Bergman so far away. Well, use the list of 7 questions that we have to find a good practitioner close to you. Are you taking an x-ray? Do you do a series of adjustments? Do you take another x-ray to document that you've corrected the actual problem you found on the first set of x-rays? That's just like basic common sense stuff. But knowing that you have bloating and eye floaters, we all have this automatic nervous system in 2 parts, sympathetic, parasympathetic, or stress response and protection, or regeneration. So you're either in protection or regeneration. You, my friend, are in a state of fight or flight dominant or sympathetic dominant state. Because when you're in a stress state, you have decreased blood supply to the gut. And that means you're not going to be processing nutrients. It also may mean that your sleep patterns are interrupted or you're not waking up refreshed. Or the bowel movements, you should have 2 to 3 healthy bowel movements a day. So you, my friend, are in a sympathetic dominant state. So look at the 3 stressors, physical, chemical, emotional. The eye floaters are a clue that your blood isn't healthy. Okay, so we have to change this. So physical stressors, get x-rays of the entire structure. Use the list of 7 questions to find a good chiropractor close to your area that's going to actually fix the physical stressors. Look at some of our videos once you get the x-rays to restore the cervical curve so it allows that cerebral spinal fluid to flow. Then actually use the eyes. Picture a big clock in front, go, 3 o'clock for 4 or 5 seconds, and 9 o'clock. Okay, then 4 o'clock for 4 or 5 seconds. Just go around the whole clock, 10 o'clock. So you're increasing and decreasing the pressure of the eye. And then look at the appropriate nutrients: vitamin C, omega-3s, astaxanthin, zinc, minerals, copper. I mean, just look at all the necessary nutrients that your body needs. Avoid toxic seed oils, avoid unnecessary medications, and look at the physical, chemical, emotional stressors. Look at emotional stress, because that will decrease blood supply to the gut. So reprogram the emotional component. Look at the chemical stressors. So that's poor sleep, toxic food. And you will start to regenerate. And I do, my friend. I've got 3 clinics in 3 different countries. So I'm doing the best I can to get close. But let me just tell you, my time is divided. Now, if your question wasn't answered here, please go to the drbvip.com, Dr. B VIP. Stay healthy, my friends. You were designed for the world, and the world was designed for you. God bless you.